Hey everybody, it's Tim Miller from the Bulwark. Kamala Harris is out with two new campaign spots this morning that are playing on televisions across the swing states, and I wanted to break down both of them for you. Let's start with the nut cutter, why don't we? Let's start with the first one. This is Kamala Harris talking about immigration.
Kamala Harris has spent decades fighting violent crime. As a border state prosecutor, she took on drug cartels and jailed gang members for smuggling weapons and drugs across the border. As vice president, she backed the toughest border control bill in decades. And as president, she will hire thousands more border agents and crack down on fentanyl and human trafficking. Fixing the border is tough. So is Kamala Harris.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
There we go. We're in business with this, okay? This one I think is very important. Immigration is the weakest issue for the vice president. If you look at all the polling, a group called Blueprint that I really respect, they analyzed like the Republican attacks against Kamala Harris to see which ones were the most effective. The immigration one's by far the most effective. The ones like about DEI or that she's not really black, like all that crazy stuff they've been doing is backfiring, if anything. So immigration is the issue that Kamala needs to message in these swing states. This ad does so aggressively. It does not offer a contrast with Trump. I assume that's still coming. I guess that'd be my one note in the 30 seconds. I would like to have seen, that Kamala supported that toughest immigration bill and Trump scuttled it. Trump killed it. But I assume that's coming in future ads. I think if you look at this ad, the key thing is there's basically four elements to it. It's past career as prosecutor, time as vice president, future, and then character, right? So you go back to prosecutor, prosecuted the international gangs, prosecuted the drug smugglers. I like this. I like Law and Order Kamala, Top Cop Kamala. That is going to appeal to the voters that she really needs. I think that she's going to have the hardest time winning over, which is working class voters, mostly working class men that have pretty strong views on law and order and on immigration. So that's good. Second, she moves to the immigration bill that we've talked about a lot here. It was a bipartisan bill in the Senate. James Lankford, conservative Republican from Oklahoma, was the lead sponsor for Republicans. Democrats worked on it. Biden-Harris administration worked on it. They got it basically, to the 10-yard line. I mean, it was almost in. Like they almost had this thing done when Trump scuttled it, called the Republicans and said, don't pass this. We don't want to give them anything to run on. And so I like the fact that she highlighted that she supported that. Again, I think in future ads, hopefully we'll see this contrast with how Donald Trump was the one that actually killed it, and that Donald Trump doesn't actually care about the border. He cares about himself. But I think maybe this is just the first ad because it's kind of buffing up her credentials before you go after Trump. Third, really important, I think my favorite part of the ad is forward. Going to hire more border guards. That's good. Right? It's like, we're not doing crazy stuff. We're not doing mass deportations. We're not doing a fucking stupid ass wall. Okay. We're hiring more border guards. We're taking this seriously. We're being responsible about it. We're not ignoring the problem. We're not pretending like there's no problem. We're offering real solutions here. I like that. And then ends with Kamala is tough, not subtle, right at it. We talked about her shouting down the protesters the other day. I'm speaking.
You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
I like that. She has a soft side. She has a giggle. She likes to talk about coconuts, but, also just demonstrating strength, demonstrating that she is ready to, even though this ad isn't about taking on China or taking on Russia, subtly it is, right? Because it's like, hey, this is a tough woman that is ready to stand up to drug smugglers, criminals, whatever, foreign adversaries. So altogether, I think it's a really good package. I'm glad they're out with it. I'm glad they're leading with it. There's been this ad that a Kamala Super PAC has been running during the Olympics. I'm sure if you've watched any Olympics, you've seen it. It was pretty, it was a little wimpy for me. It was Super PAC ad. It was just generic. It wasn't bad. I would have done a full breakdown on it if I thought it was a mistake. It was just it was a nothing burger. And so I like that the campaign team seems to really have a handle on what she needs to do in a real way. And I think strategically speaking, it's right for her to get these up now early. So good on that. There's another bio ad that the campaign is running as well in the swing states. Let's watch that.
She grew up in a middle-class home. She was the daughter of a working mom, and she worked at McDonald's while she got her degree. Kamala Harris knows what it's like to be middle class. It's why she's determined to lower healthcare costs and make housing more affordable. Donald Trump has no plan to help the middle class, just more tax cuts for billionaires. Being president is about who you fight for, and she's fighting for people like you.
I'm Kamala Harris, and I approve this message.
Y'all, another good ad. I mean, you know me, I don't bullshit. I'd tell you if I didn't like it. Another good ad. Here's what I like about this one. The working class background, I'll still, a lot of people are just being introduced to her. Don't know her. She did have professors as parents, so you might assume that she had a very privileged background, grew up in the Bay Area. People just don't know her origin story, really. So working mom, middle class upbringing, worked through school, worked at McDonald's. I like that little anecdote. Wish we had a picture of her in a little McDonald's outfit, but it might be a job for going through the archives for the Harris team. You got to go over to her house and go through the old picture books, try to find a McDonald's picture. But that's good. I like that anecdote. And then you get into the policy. How does that background tie to policy? And before I get to the specifics of the ad, I mentioned it with regards to who the target audience for this was in the first ad. The Democrats are, still do better among non-college working class voters than Republicans, but they're doing worse than they used to, right? And the weakest group for Democrats is right now, or the groups they need to shore up, is mostly men, not entirely. It's mostly, let's just be real, it's mostly Black and Hispanic men, working class, and then it's working class whites, men and women. Those are the groups they need to shore up. And so, demonstrating that Kamala understands their concerns, cares about their concerns, is an important part of trying to connect with that group and try to just improve on the margin. And I think you see that here in this ad. And then you get into the policy side of things. I like that you mentioned housing. Housing is a big concern for a lot of people right now. I feel like Democrats sometimes are a little aloof about the problem with housing crisis, housing costs. So glad that she has that in there. And then you get to the Trump contrast. What I think is strong about the Trump contrast is that it's just a straight Republican plutocrat contrast, right? One of, I think, the correct criticisms of Hillary's campaign in 2016 was that they treated Trump like this anomaly, and that he is, which he is, but in the campaign, in the paid campaign messaging, it was, that he's crazy, that he's racist, that he's sexist. He is all those things. But the more straightforward message that has worked for Democrats in the past, that he only cares about rich people, which is also true, got muddled, right? They got lost in all the Trump craziness. You look at the 2012 campaign when I was on the other side of this, working for Mitt Romney, the Obama campaign to good effect portrayed Mitt Romney as somebody that did not care about the working class, just wanted to do tax cuts for his rich buddies. That was an effective ad strategy. We can argue about the truthiness of it, but it was an effective campaign strategy. And I think that going back to that and having these ads, you just notice these first two ads: immigration, strong on border; middle class, introducing her bio as somebody that comes from the middle class and cares about the middle class. Contrast with Donald Trump, who only cares about rich people and himself. That is good. That's a good issue matrix for them. It's not this more, hard to pin down the definition of democracy. It's less about these big principles, which I think that you shouldn't ignore. She should talk about those. But in the paid advertising, focusing more on bread and butter contrasts with her vision and Trump's vision, I think makes a lot of sense. And I think that was a smart way for the campaign to launch, what are basically the first two real paid advertisements with serious money behind them that they're going to put into the swing states. All right. So one last thing. Yesterday at Trump's insane press conference, we'd been wondering, what is he doing? Trump's done nothing this week. He has a rally in Montana later tonight, and it's his first event outside of Mar-a-Lago in a week. It's a long time. Norma Desmond hasn't left Mar-a-Lago all week. And he was asked about that during the press conference. and he said that he's been working on ads, cutting these great, beautiful, beautiful ads, most beautiful you'll ever see. And so they do. Trump also has a lot of money in the bank, and we've been monitoring to see what they're doing in the advertising game. Haven't seen a lot yet. So once those big, beautiful ads that they've apparently been working on come out, we will be giving you a breakdown of those as well. Make sure to subscribe to the feed. We'll see you soon. Hey, if you like this video and our content, I'd love for you to become a Bulwark Plus subscriber. You get access to bonus podcasts, secret podcasts, and newsletters we put out every day, plus some behind-the-scenes takes that I don't always post on this feed. In addition, you can become part of the Bulwark community. Come over to our Substack and comment and meet other like-minded people. We'd love to have you. Starting today, you can get a free trial at thebulwark.com/free trial. The link is right here on the screen and below in the description. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Come on and give it a free try today.